What's going on, Star Wars fans?
Hello there.
We are here again live on a Wednesday. We have Mike and Nick and Derek. So thank you guys for joining us. And we got a few people on here already. So you're Joe, you're Joe Pal, your pal Joe. Sorry, a little dyslexic today. And Greg, thanks guys for joining us. Appreciate you guys jumping on here. We got a few other people on there. If you make a comment, I can see who you are and I can acknowledge that you're there. So
especially if it's on YouTube.
Right. Yeah. Steve Jedi, there he is. What's going on? So
with the best profile picture ever.
little Neil there.
Yeah, Neil is life.
Yes. So there's a few things new this week. We had the Oscar Isaac little interview at the end of whatever award show or whatever that was this week that didn't tell us too much, but was definitely, I think, a good thing from him. I think that he's lying. But it is what it is. Jennifer from Canada, welcome. Evan's friend, awesome. Well, we appreciate you jumping on here.
Well, Jennifer, I don't even know who Evan is, but that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Evan should be on here too. He's, I think, Galaxy 23 or something like that. He's
awesome.
He's our video director out on tour. So great.
Take it back, Evan.
That guy B, what's up?
Star Wars. That guy B, hello.
Gosh, we got all the friends in here.
I know. That's a good thing. So so that was one cool thing with Oscar, which was sort of neat. I really liked the Darth Raven and Obi-Wan Kenobi short or trailer, I guess, for Lego, which was pretty cool. So I have both of those. We'll look in at both of those, but is that a white Vader?
Yeah. Sure is.
Good one. I'm just out, so I really didn't get into, just because I don't really put them together, but I didn't really watch the Lego stuff, so I've been actually watching the first half of the new one that's coming out.
They're so fun. They're so fun.
Who are the two main dudes? Who are those two guys or kids? Or like there's one that's from the newest one, like
Sig and the good guy and the bad guy, or just
the two guys? They're
Sig and Dev.
Okay, yeah. So are they just random Lego people?
They're new characters. Yeah. I don't remember who Dev is voiced by, but Sig is voiced by the kid from Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
I'm horrible with names. I don't know their names.
Yeah. Which was it? Which kid? The one with the curly hair?
Yeah, the when he has like no teeth in the early seasons.
The one who plays Dustin.
Yeah, Dustin.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
And then of course Jedi Bob is legendary, and getting Darth Jar Jar in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, I got some Darth Jar Jar too. Here we go.
There you go. Well, you're gonna have to get the new one because now he's gonna have spider legs in season 2.
I want it. I want it. I'm an adult. I have expendable income. I think I should get it.
That is the most dangerous thing about being a Star Wars fan, is when you grow up and be an adult and have money. Because
all this stuff.
Because wait. This is the perfect segue. Cue Ron.
I actually had to unplug him because every time I move down here, he just goes off, which is actually pretty cool. But he has a whole bunch of different his little and his nice one is his angry one. He's got a whole bunch of them. So we if you guys follow me on Instagram or TikTok or anything at Star Wars Jedi Chat, I had a little spoiler. I did get him the other day, and I was going to download it. I'll find it and just show it.
In your honor, I wore my Iowa Wookiees hockey hat.
Nice.
We do this every year. The Iowa Wild do a game every year at Star Wars night, and so I got this. So this is wild. This is wild. I was wearing this shirt at Galaxy's Edge, and I'm walking around, and out of nowhere, another guy walks by wearing this shirt, and like, you have to pretty much be from Des Moines, and it was like it was like the Spider-Man meme of like you, and so I was like, well, where do you live in Des Moines? He's like, oh, I live here. And I'm like, this is too weird. But anyways,
Yeah.
I digress. I was gonna buy the actual jersey, but they were going for charity, and they were like $1,500. I was like, I don't like it that much. Also,
Derek, you got to go to the Iowa Wolves Star Wars night this year.
I will.
And to win.
Iowa Cubs, and I got a really cool shirt. It's almost like a Roosevelt style shirt. Which Roosevelt? That's who we should get to sponsor.
That's who we should. Yeah, come on, and these guys, right, Derek?
I know. Every week I've got one. Every week.
I will say, so I got this picture from my wife. I don't know if everybody can see that. And I got it with a message. What is this? Huge box sitting on. We obviously got it delivered. I was like, it's Chewy. She's like, I can see that. I'm like, well, you're gonna see him a lot more downstairs.
Love it. Yeah. My brother's like, it's hard to see your face because the text I had my face over here, and I'm like, that's the first time. I don't know if he was saying that like, oh, it's hard to see your face. This is great, because knowing my brother, that's usually what he would say. But you know,
you're in the middle of the. Sorry,
Yeah.
buddy, you're in the middle of the.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Comments.
I can just move over.
I'm
just surprised that he's not being his
Just
normal horrible Sith self.
Just switch me and Derek. My face won't be in the middle.
Yes, and that is the Home Depot Chewy. And
Yeah.
welcome, Evan. Appreciate you guys jumping on here.
So, how long did it take for you to put him together?
It wasn't long, about a half an hour.
Nice.
So it was pretty easy. I mean, obviously you follow the directions. I've learned in my older age not to be the proud guy and just be like, oh, I can do this and put it together myself. So I usually have to look at the directions just to make sure, which is good because obviously it was left and right. And I mean, it is literally 7 foot tall. It's pretty insane. It's pretty.
I didn't realize it made noises if you move around it.
Yeah, it's a security.
Yeah, it has a little sensor in right about there.
That's crazy.
And I unplugged it.
Animatronic.
Yeah, his arms move and his head moves and stuff. I got the Yoda one last year with the little Santa hat, and this comes with as you guys know, it's Christmas. It's a Christmas one, so it comes with a cane and a hat. But I'm not gonna put that on now.
Not yet, at least. Well, and now I've seen a lot of videos on like TikTok and stuff. Did you have to brush them out?
It wasn't too bad. I actually just used my hands, and it actually comes pretty good. The head I had to work a little bit with the hair on the top because it just was like all over his face. But for the most part, it all just groomed back pretty good, and it looks pretty good. I think it's
it looks fantastic.
I mean, being 7 foot tall is what really gives it the thing.
Have you taken him to the vet yet?
Yeah, he is neutered.
Okay,
shots.
All right.
I don't need any little Chewbacca's wandering around.
Maybe you do.
Yeah. You could sell them for some death sticks.
Yeah. Greg, I don't know if I'm going to get the Vader yet. I have the Stormtrooper on the way. Like my wife said,
I should order the Vader right now.
I don't know where if I had Darth, I wouldn't be able to put him in the picture. Because I'm going to probably put the Stormtrooper over on the other side here when he gets here. But yeah, he's
right now.
Pretty cool. Oh,
anyway, 7 foot tall. I don't have a very high basement ceiling here.
No, Jennifer won the Buffalo Bison Star Wars jersey at the game a few years ago.
Oh, there you go.
It's pretty good.
You can send that to us.
Yeah. Greg brought it up, but the Lego Death Slice. So this happened, I guess, since we last spoke, but the Death Star Lego set, the new one came out. Now, henceforth, will be called the Death Slice. But what is your guys' take on that? Like, it was pretty crazy that it's $1,000 and it's not even an entire Death Star.
It's actually really cool. I saw a video. I probably should have downloaded it. It's really cool. The secret compartments that it has, the little things that they can drop into the garbage chute.
Yeah,
which is cool. There's some really cool things. But again, like you said, what is it? 9,000 pieces and $1,000. That's pretty steep.
Yeah. Here's my thing. Is obviously I love Lego. I've got plenty of And I like to say Legos, but people correct me all the time. They're like, it's a proper name. It's Lego. Whatever. I've gotten made fun of when I was building Lego. Anyway, I love them, but like they're getting really big for their britches.
Yeah.
They're getting quite excited about what they make. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to remember they were almost bankrupt 10 years ago. They
Yeah.
were on the edge of bankruptcy.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think-
Star Wars sets are what saved them, really.
It was.
I think it's a little gratuitous for the price tag, although I don't think they'll get any of us to say it's not cool. Like, it's obviously cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
But, it's just at this point, even I've seen like regular old sets that as a kid I don't think were that expensive. Now are like,
Yeah.
you kind of like double take at the price tag.
Yeah,
But-
like my brother said, we just saw the Millennium Falcon for $900 at Shields. Now I've got the Dark Falcon, which is much smaller, but it's still a good size. Like I'm really happy with it, and it was like 170, I think. And that one for the price, I mean, it's still expensive, but I think as far as Lego goes, it's pretty great. But man, you get up to some of those $1,000 ones, like
It's ridiculous.
A little
Well,
too much.
Yeah, it's too much. But like you guys were saying, at first glance, it looks like, what the hell is this? It's not even the Death Star. And then you see all the cool little Easter eggs and all this great stuff that's in there. It's also a little strange that it's the Death Star, obviously, and you assume it's the first Death Star, but there's second Death Star scenes and all this other stuff going on. You even comes with a Galen Erso, who I guess he at some point must have been on the Death Star because he was making it. But you like see all these cool little Easter eggs, and there's even characters from Return of the Jedi and A New Hope, and in between, like a random purple guy who I had no idea who he was. But like we talk about all the time, it's mostly about the minifigs, and there's not that many cool ones. Yes, Galen Erso, yes, the hot tub stormtrooper, but other than that, it's pretty basic. There's no what is he called in it's just
That's just a
Luke?
random guy.
Surfer Luke. Yeah, it's Surfer Luke.
Surfer Luke. That's
Surfer
Luke
Luke.
from
Now,
From the
that being
first-
said, if Lego wants to sponsor this channel, I have several sets. Now, I'm saying this because I don't know if anybody even want to see this. I have several sets that I still need to put together, and I can always do a live stream putting Lego together. If
Oh, I
anybody
have-
wants to see that.
an insane amount of Legos over there that need to be built. I get them as gifts for like Christmas and everything, and I just haven't built any of them. I have that one actually built, ready?
Oh, I know. That's. I remember I commented on that when we were talking one night.
That's cool.
Yes.
It looks so
It's
good.
good.
But I love the box.
I like that his like
Yeah.
ears can flop up like this.
Oh wow. That's pretty cool.
And he's like,
I know we're on a tangent.
Dark
but
TIE fighter.
This one was really fun. This was like a bunch of different droids that were like with funny hats and different things. I've built 2 of the 4. I need to finish those. Now, here we go.
he's missing.
There he goes.
This was not planned at all. These are just sitting right next to me randomly. This guy right here.
Ooh, I broke this somehow. Oh, that thing's enormous.
Who's that in the left corner of the front, Derek? Is that who I think it is?
Left front.
Left corner.
Oh, yes, it's Cal
Yeah.
Kestis.
Oh, of course.
Nice.
So
Knew
it's
it.
weird because as we're watching this,
I'm
the
breaking this
chat is
down.
on the right side, but as I'm watching on YouTube, the chat like my screen is mirrored. So like
Oh yeah.
right now it looks like I'm fine over here, but I'm actually supposed to be over here. So sorry. But yeah, this set is exquisite. It
Hey,
is
put up a poll. I'd be interested to see how many people actually have Lego Star Wars and who don't. When
yes,
Yeah.
sir.
you're done showing us all of your
There's more. That's not even all of them.
Pam,
Lego,
it-
Lego, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Lego.
Lego,
Call
if you're watching, and we know that you are.
that's right. Welcome,
Um,
welcome.
Well, it is on topic because in a week from now, or just over a week from now, we do have season 2 of Lego Rebuild the Galaxy, which, I mean, we've talked about Darth Revan and Cal Kestis being in there, which is just unbelievably cool. But Ron, do you have the trailer? Or...
I do. Let me play
okay.
that.
Oh,
Yes,
This
there was
is
a trailer
nice.
this week for Rebuild the Galaxy with Obi-Wan and Revan. So
Here we go.
Hello there. Darth Revan and I were wondering who'd blasted their way into our fortress. We've been making plans to destroy your pathetic little village, Ahsoka.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, big fan. Gonna try not to gush. And Darth Revan, not as familiar with your work, but based on your clothes, I'm thinking Old Republic. Not much of a talker. Okay.
Forget talking. You gotta get aggressive.
Dad, why are you so aggro?
Are you gonna help me or not?
Oh, I don't think so.
What the? I guess that Force Lightning can come in handy sometimes.
Don't make it a big deal.
I'm sitting over here laughing. I love it. But there's Dev.
No.
yeah, it's a really cool trailer just because Revan, of course, the mention of Old Republic. He says, "Oh, Darth Revan, I'm not familiar with your work, but clearly you look Old Republic." Like that. That's just cool. Like that, just little poking fun because this isn't a canon show. It's not going to be actually Darth Revan's first appearance in canon, but it's his first appearance on screen, at least in the Disney era, I guess.
Right.
And that's really cool. Yeah.
Well, and I think you brought up a good point on your podcast that he doesn't speak, so they're still trying to figure out if he even does during this new series or whatever, who that voice is going to be, because that could be a big giveaway if they do have any idea of him coming in, whether it's Keanu or somebody new. So I think that'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, my thing too is you didn't have to put Darth Revan in this show, so they're doing it for a reason. And like Cal Kestis makes more sense to me because he's in this era, and they're bringing back like just different variations of characters, like the Mandalorian and stuff, like people who are in the Skywalker saga timeline. Revan's nowhere close to that, so what's he doing there? Like, I don't know. It begs a lot of questions.
We also got in the same week. We also got a release of like concept art that they had made for that planned Old Republic game that now I think has been planned for like a few years. Like, what is it, 3 or 4 years?
Actually, today it just so happens to be the 4-year anniversary of when they announced the game being remade.
Right. And this is the first concept art we have of it, is like this cool Kashyyyk, display. But like, I don't know, is it a coincidence? Did that leak or did they put it out? Or is it a coincidence that a Revan Lego trailer?
Did you say critique?
Everybody drink.
It's
water.
Yeah, no, I think it's a coincidence just because the leaked image was sort of like from the older studio that was working on the game, and then it's moved studios since then.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a lot of Old Republic talk over the last probably, 6 or 8 months. And it's just, when you look at the future content, it's mostly Mando and post sequels. But at the same time, we're getting Revan in this, and we're getting Old Republic talk all over the place. So it is very weird. Old Republic is such a gold mine that they have just at their fingertips whenever they want to use it. It's just a matter of when, I guess.
Yeah. Steve said, why did they make Ahsoka so big and square? And that guy B said, probably to sell more brickheads. Have you guys seen the brickheads? I've done a few. Yeah. I think they're awesome. I think they're so much fun.
I have seen them. I don't have any.
Is it the format that Ahsoka's character is in that?
Yeah. The big, huge
trailer.
Yeah. It's exactly what it is. But they are so fun, and they've got like several sets, and they're inexpensive. Well, more inexpensive
for Lego.
For Lego, they're cheap.
It's all relative. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm gonna put this in the chat just so everybody can see like what brickheads are. And this is also an ad, so sorry. Oh God, it went as 2. That was a horrible mistake.
3.
Oh
no.
Well, sorry, folks. You won't be able to click on that. That was terrible.
Well, yeah, the brickheads. I mean, they look cool, whatever. it looks so out of place in that scene. Like, why is Ahsoka just this massive brickhead when everybody else is a normal minifig? It's kind of weird. I'm sure there'll be an explanation in the show, but it is very weird.
Yeah, well, and I think that's probably why Steve asked it, because it does look interesting in that whole situation there. Which again, it'll be pretty cool when we get that. But I also think we're not seeing a lot of. Oh, there goes Derek. We are not seeing a lot of Cal Kestis right now, and I wonder how much if they're just holding off on it, and we're going to get more. Again, just like they're talking about when they talk about the Old Republic, and I'm not really familiar with you. So I think it'll be pretty cool when we do get that Cal Kestis, character to come out, and I'm guessing Cameron will be voicing him if he speaks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, on that point too, this is almost like a Deadpool movie where when something happens on screen, Deadpool looks at the camera and goes, "This is funny because of this." Like, Stig is just saying it how it is. He sees Darth Revan, he goes, "Oh, you're from the Old Republic." So when he sees Cal Kestis, I'm sure he's going to say something that gives us some little inklet or whatever. But it would be really cool if Lucasfilm is working overtime over there, and I don't think the third Jedi game is anywhere close to being finished. But if in this game, or in this show, I should say, they give us a sneak peek or a tease at what the game's going to be about. Like the third Jedi game, we don't really know anything plot-wise or where it takes place in the timeline, nothing. So it would be really cool if Lucasfilm put a little bit of a tease for that game in this show, because that would be, for people who watch it, would be like this extra little nugget.
Yep. Also, I must point out, because I'm kind of on the fence about what Revan being in this means, but I must point out he is an unaffected character. Everybody in that thing we just watched has something weird about him. Obi-Wan's evil. Ahsoka's a big
True.
block thing. Revan's just Revan, Darth Revan.
Yeah.
And there's nothing affected, by the Rebuild the Galaxy title. I don't think it's just like direct evidence that we're going to dive deep into Old Republic stuff, but I think primarily it like serves us without actually serving us. We want to see them. And then they're also, I don't know where they're at in the Legends material, but they're reissuing a bunch of the expanded universe books and kind of like putting new art on them, updating them a little bit. So I think that is going to happen. Something cool with that will probably happen before we ever get an Old Republic game or ever get him on screen. But I do see some maybe comic or novelization material for Old Republic. I feel like could be coming soon. I just think we're so heavy into all the stuff we always talk about, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, sequel stuff, Starfighter, that I think it's some fan service, but also for the deep future to tell kids who are watching the Lego show, like, see, do you think this guy's cool? Because we think he's cool. Maybe you'll see him later,
Well, you have to imagine. Yeah. You have to imagine too, with, like you said, maybe they'll do some comics or books stuff first. They just finished up the High Republic. So what's like their next big book stuff? And maybe they do Old Republic, and that would be like a little bit of an introduction in.
They even, I feel like it even teed up Thrawn's live action debut, that they were redoing the Heir to the Empire, not rewriting them, but like they re-released, that they released Plagueis when the Acolyte came out. Like, I think that's something to watch.
Yeah. Well,
that's very good.
Timothy Zahn's going to be at the convention I'm going to this weekend, so I'm going to ask him a lot of questions.
There you go.
I've already spent the money to do like just a little extra, say hi and take a picture with him. So I'm super excited. Which, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm going to GalaxyCon here in Des Moines, and so get to hang out with some good friends there, and of course I'll probably be shooting some footage for us as well.
Nice.
But if you guys have anything you want me to see at GalaxyCon, there's some heavy hitters there. Let me know. Let us know in the chat.
Well, if you're seeing Timothy Zahn, your first question must be, are you involved at all in this Thrawn stuff?
That's the first question.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
You'll
to
get
that
arrested.
point-
You'll get arrested on site for asking
Yeah.
such a question.
literally. To that point, though, they're bringing Thrawn over to canon. Well, he has been in canon for a long time now, but they're bringing over the Heir to the Empire ideas to canon, and of course, it's going to be very different from the Legends version of that. So, what if the same thing happens where they give us Revan in Rebuild the Galaxy, but he is the Legends version of Revan, and then we get a canon version later down the line when they do Old Republic stuff? Like, that would be really cool to see a Legends version first, like they did with the Heir to the Empire, re-releasing it 20th anniversary, whatever's, in Rebuild the Galaxy, and then giving us a canon version, because the canon version of the Old Republic is gonna be different than Legends, as much as people don't want it to be the case. It's gonna be the case. So hopefully they do it right, because hopefully they do the Heir to the Empire right too. But I mean, it would be really cool to get the Legends version that people know and love in Rebuild the Galaxy first, just to please them, and
Yeah.
then do your own version.
Because, like you said, in Rebuild the Galaxy, he can do anything he wants.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like, there's no, and that's the perfect. Oddly enough, I would not have said that prior, but that's the perfect place to bring him back. Second most perfect would just be in a game that we know isn't like
Yep.
canon, right? But
Yeah.
um,
Well, that was the
But
big deal with the Knights of the Old Republic remake, is that it was supposed to be a canon remake.
yeah,
So that would have been our first look at canon in the Old Republic. And honestly, I think that's why it's been delayed so much, is because they don't want to do that yet. And they're waiting on the Old Republic stuff anyway.
and it's difficult because if you're, if it's anywhere similar to the original, that is all. Every moment you have choices all the time, so there's no way to like cohesively canonize that unless there's a main story, right?
Yeah.
But these days, with how prevalent multiplayer is and stuff, like I could only see it going like the Jedi game, direction, maybe with an open world feel to give it those choices, like the Red Dead thing you were talking about,
Yes.
Derek.
Yep.
But otherwise, like I don't know how they'll, this day and age, make
I
a
just want
similar.
them to give Rockstar a ton of money and just make Red Dead Star Wars. Like,
That'd
just
be
put an
awesome.
overlay of Star Wars. Don't even remake the game. I don't even care.
If
I
there are-
don't care.
If there are any modders out there who have like patches and stuff, if you want to hit the
I know
comment
Rockstar's
section.
tough with that.
Are they?
Really?
Yeah, they're a little bit harder, and probably because their games have been out for like 10 years before they update them. It's ridiculous. But like, again, don't reinvent the wheel. And I know that, like, was it Stargate has done like a really cool patch for Star Wars, but that's not for console. That's like you have to have a like really beefy PC for that. And while I do have that, I'm still a console gamer. Like, I've got 2 really beefy PCs, but I use them for like video editing and streaming. I'm not a PC gamer.
Yeah. The coolest one is, I've been playing a lot of Helldivers lately, and the Star Wars mods on that game are awesome. It's like they have to make this into a Star Wars game. But yeah, we just need more multiplayer Star Wars games. I think that's just the real baseline there, is we just need more Star Wars games to play with other people. Like, that's about it. That's all we ask.
Yeah, and I think the hang up of every game has to be canon just needs to go away. Like, look at one of the most successful Star Wars games of all times, Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that many times, of like, we know it's not canon. It's not going to be canon. Let's just make more like that.
Yeah. Or even Battlefront. Like Battlefront, the campaign is canon, I guess, but everything else isn't. Like,
it's just fun. It's Star Wars.
Just fun.
It's just like Galaxy's Edge. I'm going back to my park since I'm the park guy. We don't need it to be in the timeline. It looks like Star Wars because it is. So just give us all the characters we want.
I'll say it again, Derek. I was shocked to find out that they're sticking everything to the timeline. Like, I've been there before, and I was always wondering, like, why is it just First Order, stormtroopers walking around? Because it just feels like you're in Star Wars. That's it. And
they're
I'm
deviating now a
surprised.
little bit more, especially in like with the 70th anniversary at Disneyland. They've done a lot more stuff, and then you'll have Din Djarin and Grogu coming out now sometimes. But yeah, like, I love Batu. I mean, I'm one of the biggest champions of of the Black Spire book, only because I had one of my good friends, Logan Sekula, was like, Derek, and he's like the guy that got everybody to read it. Like, this is the best Star Wars book. And then I read it and I was like, whoa, this is like really, really good. And then when you walk into the parks, you're like, this is everything I read about, down to like the little shops, to the cantina, everything.
So is that all canon as well?
That is all canon.
Those books are canon as well. That's cool.
The park is built of that place.
Yeah, the park is canon.
It's like in conjunction with the.
Okay.
Yes, like Vi Marati is canon. You'll see her walking around. But even still, like, we don't have to be in the timeline though. Because again, I've said this a million times. Thrawn met Anakin and Padme in Batuu.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we had a Thrawn meet and greet?
Yeah, crazy.
That'd be awesome.
Just
That's
take
the
my
thing.
money. Just take all of my money.
Yeah, well, Thrawn's going to be a main villain moving forward for the next couple of years. So yeah, bring him to the parks. Like that will not only boost up your park revenue, but also get people to know the character more.
Exactly. And I think that's the biggest point, is to get him to know, or get these normie fans to know who he is and be like, oh, okay, this is the next Darth Vader, the next Palpatine. This is the next bad guy, like you said, for the next few years. You know, they're not going to kill him off in, you know, either one of these, you know, whether it's Ahsoka or if we even hear or see him in Mandalorian and Grogu. He's going to be, like you said before, Mike, he's going to win a couple things here. He's going to be a good bad guy for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm listening to book 3 again from the canon Thrawn series.
Is that treason or alliances? Can't remember which one.
I can remember the names of those. Hold tight, because I have it right here. Ascendancy, lesser evil.
Ascendancy. Oh, okay.
Lesser evil. Yeah. So, I'm re-listening to this one, and there are 5 stories going on at once, and Thrawn is rarely in it.
Yeah.
And you have like 2 other alien races that he's trying to save, plus the one that is like trying to manipulate, plus his own ascendancy of the Chiss. Oh my gosh. There's so much great content, and that's where I'm hoping that Disney dives into that, and we get away from the big bad of Palpatine and everything, and we go into this other side, and that's what they're trying to pull in.
Yeah.
Well, that is why, like, there's no other reason to come out with the Ascendancy trilogy than to tee something up, because they kind of tee it up in the first Thrawn canon trilogy, where it's like what he's doing in the Empire, like when he gets found, kind of puts you into where he's at in Rebels and his experience in the Empire, all that kind of stuff. But to put out the Ascendancy trilogy for no reason other than like us talking about it does not seem like the way they roll. You know, to build up all this stuff that could tie in and kind of like carry us for a while. I'm in for it.
I will find Timothy Zahn. I'll find his hotel. There's like 2 places to stay. I know where they all stay. I already know where they're at.
Well,
I'm not a stalker.
At FBI. Well, and I always thought like these stories of the Yuzan Vong, if you guys are familiar, in the legend stuff, are awesome, but would be really hard to put on screen. Like, would be really hard to make happen. But not the Grisk and the Chiss stuff. Like, that can be done, I think, like pretty well.
Of course it can be.
And tie in. Not that Yuzong Vong can't, but that's such a thing.
Well, yeah. When Disney bought the company, they went, okay, this Legends character Thrawn, let's bring him to canon, and they made a whole-on trilogy with him. Then they bring him into animation. Now they're bringing him into live action. Clearly, those stories told in canon from that trilogy are going to have an impact on what his story is in live action.
2 trilogies.
Oh yeah, 2 trilogies.
Yeah.
Now, it has to have an impact in what can happen. That's why I think a show like The Bad Batch, although it was really good in and of itself, is still setting up for something else. Like Mount Tantus being brought to live action, that's a big deal, especially when it's around Grand Admiral Thrawn and the heir to the Empire. That stuff is on purpose. So the reason you see so much Thrawn in novels and Thrawn in Rebels and now Thrawn everywhere is because they're setting him up to be the guy. If you read the novels, you know who Thrawn is. If you read the comics, you know who Thrawn is. If you watch the animation, you know who Thrawn is. They're just teeing it up for the last decade, and nobody's noticed.
And they
I mean,
wouldn't.
it's such an amazing character development too.
Yeah.
Of like, it's so different from what we're used to as the big bad.
Yes.
And Mike, you've said this on your show so many times of like, he's not the big bad. He's looking out for his own original interest.
Mhm.
He's not the bad guy, but that's what makes him so intriguing, where you're like, I hate him because he's against the people that I love.
Yeah.
But then I love him because like he's not this manipulative. He doesn't play into the politics of things.
Yeah.
He actually hates the politics of stuff. He's all about tactical and logical.
And like, because he's a chiss, their whole thing is you can't fight back or you can't attack until somebody attacks you. And that, I think, I don't know if the New Republic will attack him first, but I think he'll sort of bend the rules on that one maybe. But you're going to see that where, like you said, he's not really the bad guy. He's just doing it for a different reason. And we don't know what that reason is yet.
Mm-hmm.
Steve said he's after the Old Republic men. He's going to AT-AT.
He's definitely going to AT-AT. And again, another thing like the Bad Batch, like Mount Tantus, set up for a reason. When John Watts on the set of No Way Home goes to Jon Favreau and goes, I got this idea for a show. He brings it to Dave Filoni and he goes, yeah, that's perfect for what we're trying to set up for Thrawn. Like that's the key to how he can take over here. I always just imagine in my head these millions of whiteboards in their offices and they're all like, oh, this is this, and like it's all connected. But yeah, I think Thrawn is a villain like we've never seen before in Star Wars, unlike Palpatine, unlike Vader. And that's going to be refreshing, but also just really, really cool. They didn't tap into that nearly enough in Rebels. It's like my one gripe with Thrawn in Rebels because he's so awesome. But they didn't tap into it
incredible in
enough.
Rebels.
Oh, yeah, he's great, but you don't see that other side of him. He's sort of just the villain at that point.
I don't know. Like, I think the scene where Hera's in his office or whatever and looking at the art and looking at like her family stuff.
Yeah.
And you're seeing like him pull back the curtain of like, I know everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Not even because I like looked into you. It's because I know the art and the history. Like, to me, especially as an artist and a musician, and I know Nick, you can probably identify with this too, is like he's looking at it from such a different lens of everybody else is looking at it from like tactical and all these other things, where Thrawn's like, I know who you are by what you love and how you were raised.
Yeah. And if Ron, if you could pull up that picture again.
Yep.
The coolest thing about this picture from Rebels, and it's in the show, obviously, is Dave Filoni knowing what he's doing with all the Legends material. Like he's got the Salamari, or whatever you want to call them, on his shoulders. The salamander-like creatures from Legends that repel the Force in like this Force bubble. They're not in canon yet, or at least we haven't seen them yet in canon. But just little Easter eggs like that, when people talk about like, oh, Dave Filoni doesn't know what he's talking about, like, okay, what are we even talking about here? But he brings so many Legends aspects over to canon. I really wonder, and I'm curious to see what you guys think. Do you guys think they'll bring over the Ysalamari to canon for him to combat like Ezra or Cal or Luke or whomever?
I think it'd be cool. Like normally I don't like that kind of stuff, but I think in this instance, because he's so tactical, it's cool. And that's where Andy just put in the chat. That's one of the best parts of Thrawn is political ignorance as opposed to his tactical genius.
Yeah.
And like if it was like Rey or like even Palpatine getting something that's like, oh, it's gonna help me force heal or whatever.
Yeah.
But with Thrawn, it's like, oh, I planned this out. Like everything is methodical.
Yeah. It would just be really cool because the last time him and Ezra, well, I guess not the last time because they went to Peridia together, but the last time we saw him and Ezra together, Ezra uses the Force to pretty much stop him and then wraps up this whole ship in Purgle and jets off into hyperspace. If the next time they meet in live action, Ezra tries to use the Force and it just doesn't work.
Oh my God.
And Thrawn's just like, oh, I'm 10 steps ahead of you, buddy. Like, this isn't happening again. I'm never going to lose ever again because I'm too much of a genius. Like, that would be so awesome. If
you might
whoever
just crack
it is,
the code, Mike.
well, it's like it doesn't even have to be Ezra. It could be even Luke. If it was Luke Skywalker, everybody's favorite Force user, and he's like about to stop or about to Force choke because he does that to the not Praetorian guards, but to the Jabba Palace guards. Yes, thank you. He just does that for some reason. Force choke. He likes to do it. If he tries to use the Force on Thrawn, and everybody loves Luke, everybody knows how powerful Luke is. Everybody thinks it's going to go crazy, and he wins, and he's going to win, and then it just doesn't work. Like that would be so awesome. You could end the movie on that, just like boom, cliffhanger. Like that would be so sick.
Well, it's kind of like that would be a good use of it, right? Because it'd be it's already kind of if you know the old Thrawn stuff, it's already established he is into that kind of stuff, would know about it. He's also off now because of the Ascendancy trilogy. He's been exposed to a bunch of other alien civilizations outside of the galaxy that he's worried about, one of which basically does like crowd mind control, the Grisk. So that's an interesting thing they could bring in. I don't know how they would do that, but
they could do. I want the Grisk so bad.
But yeah, and it's the Grisk seemed to me like the tee up, like we're not going to do the Yuzong Vong, but we could do the Grisk sort of thing. And the thing about the Yuzong Vong that was cool is that they don't have any standing in the Force whatsoever. They're invisible. They have no soul, basically. So Luke, that was like Luke's kryptonite. Is like, I don't know where they are, what they are. There's nothing I can do about them unless they're right in front of me.
Yeah,
and that's a similar gives a little stakes to, you know, and in that time frame in the EU, Luke was basically Superman, right? And so it gave a little. There they are, right there, as ugly, nasty dudes.
Yeah.
Also
they're
hated.
Cute.
They also used only biological weaponry and technology, so their weapons were like the thing Thrawn wears, kind of like they're just little lizards and like spines and weird stuff. Their vehicles were just giant, like basically ugly Purgle.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the idea, though. Like, it maybe not the Vong, but the Grisk. Even like you're just introducing Thrawn into live action in Ahsoka. This is not just going to be a one and done thing. He's not going to be a villain that's not going to stick around for a while. And I think when we talk about like a Mando trilogy, there is so much that you can get into, like the Grisk. Like Thrawn doesn't have to even be the villain per se, but he's the heir to the Empire, of course. But you have to add on the fact that he's coming back with however many hundreds, thousands, whatever, of Night Sisters. Like, so you're introducing Night Sisters magic to a whole different group of people, normie fans, as we call them, people who've never seen a Night Sister before in their life. They're getting introduced to that. If you're going to do the Grisk too, like you need a lot of time to execute all of that. So a trilogy would be great.
I say just throw them in the deep end of the pool and let them go. I mean, plus they'll see the Grisk and like in a lot of the animation stuff that they've made for books and whatnot. They kind of look like Voldemort anyway. And Harry Potter has been stealing stuff from Star Wars for decades.
You know what they look like though, actually, in the comics and stuff, is the dude banging the drum in the Eclipse game trailer. They look just like that. And that looks cool. I don't know what the intention of that trailer was for, because it sounds like they're not really doing anything with it. But like, could you imagine, like, if they just brought those things in, you wouldn't necessarily need a whole expose on them in one movie. It's like, I would like to see what this is, and it could go on for a little while. But
well, one of the reports I was talking about late last week was not only is there going to be a Mando trilogy if The Mandalorian and Grogu is a success, but there will also be other spin-off movies or shows from the Mandoverse as the trilogy goes along. So, for example, you could introduce the Grisk and then make a show about them or a movie about them to explain it more. So, like, you can have off branches to dive deeper into the story. So for people who don't really care about that, they can just watch the trilogy. It makes sense and it's great. But for those who want more, they can go watch the show online. But you bring up a great point, and I never even thought of this. Eclipse is technically still in development, just like the KOTOR game is. But
it's not going to happen. Quit trying to make fetch happen.
Well, if it does happen, it would be really cool to establish the Grisk as this cool species in a game and
Mhm.
like be able to live in that and play in that world where the Grisk are maybe the villains or whatever happens in that game. I don't know. And have them be around for a while and establish them as a villain so that when you see him on screen and you see him in the show or on the movie, it's better and you know who they are already. Like they're the only bit of this because we have already Night Sisters in the Clone Wars. You got Thrawn for 2 trilogies and books and all over the place. The Grisk, if they were to be introduced, wouldn't really have that much backstory. And yeah, that looks so badass.
That's awesome. Actually, Mike, you bring up a good point with that too, of like things that were introduced in games that ended up leading into other things. And you think about Battlefront, and you have the like Palpatine as the robot, whatever.
Mhm.
That was before the movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
contingency plan
The-
stuff. Yeah.
Operation Cinder, which it gets
Yes.
mentioned in the Mandalorian.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, that's the first time I've kind of pieced that together.
Yeah.
So I think they have
you
the
were
opportunity.
you were in it, Derek. You were
Yeah. I
with
know.
Bill Burr on that mission.
Yes.
No. Wow.
So,
and it's like, I
They have the opportunity to do that though, where they can connect the games to the actual stories that are going on here, and with Eclipse or with anything really. It doesn't have to be the Old Republic with the KOTOR remake. It can be anywhere in the timeline. So I think they would be missing out on the opportunity to do something like that. Because yes, Operation Cinder is in Battlefront 2. It's in the Mandalorian, and all that contingency plan stuff with Palpatine. It's in there too. It's also in all different other projects now. And we have the sequel trilogy where Palpatine comes back. So there's all that stuff that's interconnected. We need more of that. We need more of that with
Mhm.
Grisk and Thrawn and Night Sisters and everything. Somebody brought this up a couple days ago, but it was the fact that Night Sisters were just revealed in Ahsoka season 1 to be from Peridia, from a different galaxy. That's just the tip of the iceberg with that kind of stuff. Like there is so
Mhm.
much lore that you could add on to with a new galaxy and new ways to wield the Force from a different galaxy. Night Sisters are not from this galaxy. That's crazy. And nobody really realizes how crazy that truly is. And with Ahsoka season 2 having a lot of Night Sisters back, it's going to be very fascinating to see how they use the Force versus magic, especially when they're going toe to toe versus each other on screen in live action.
Well, 2 things. I think that just means we need a Tales from the Unknown Regions
Yeah.
series, which would kind of help us out a little bit with all of our, bridge building.
Yep.
Second of all, I forgot what I was going to say. So,
Oh, well, there you go. Actually,
that.
I wanted to throw it over to Ron because Ron, we kind of ran with this one. We went on a far tangent.
Yeah, somehow.
That's what we do best. But Ron is like, you're the guy that you're like the OG. You are the original 3. How do you feel about like when these new things start to come out and you start to see like potential new storylines go? How do you feel like of deviating from the original storyline?
It
This
does
is like
bother
on the
me.
cuff too.
No, because and I've said this before, and either with Nick or with Mike, anything new coming out is amazing. I think because George started this whole thing, almost 50 years ago, and it has developed into so much. And for the most part, I feel in 99% of the time, it's sticking to what he has created. And it'll spin off here and there, but there's so many fans like us and probably people that are worse than us just in a nice way,
Yeah.
that if something's off by a year or two, or somebody's a different species than they were over here, people freak out. And I think it's cool that they've been able to do that. And any new Star Wars stuff, because you can't stay on that Skywalker thing the whole time.
Right.
We've seen how good it is when they get away from it, and I love it. I love the Skywalker everything, but for us to step away from it is really cool as well. And the stories that they have been coming out with, I think, are great. And I think even as much as now that we've been talking about it more and more, and some of these other actors and stuff are coming in, I'm not a huge fan of the big name actors, but I think Starfighter is going to be a kick-ass movie.
Yeah.
I think so too. I mean, I'm excited.
It's going to rock everybody's world. And yes, it's going to be a standalone, but I think it's going to be a standalone like Rogue One was. I think there's going to be stuff that we're going to get from off of all that stuff, which I think will be cool. But again, just that stuff, and I think guys like Evan and like Larry that are on here right now that are my age, in that, well, Evan, I know you're not my age, but you're close. But the OGs, they're on here, and we're loving all this stuff. And Larry's actually in Australia right now watching, which is pretty cool.
I love that. Hey, Larry, thanks for jumping on,
Larry.
man. I'm a huge fan yet again.
Nice.
Like Larry's amazing musician.
Larry
so I love
legend.
seeing him on here.
What time is it in Australia, Larry?
Great. Yeah, what time is it over there?
What's it like in the future?
Yeah. Do we have a Mando and Grogu trailer yet, Larry?
Yeah.
Right. But I think they would agree, and that's why they're on here, because they enjoy the new Star Wars stuff. They enjoy the Acolyte stuff. They enjoy the animation stuff. Everything that's coming out is so good. Look at Andor. I mean, probably some of the best Star Wars we've ever had.
Yep.
And not to say that, not even the acting and the cinematography, but the story behind it that brings everything together, that changed Rogue One. It changed the way I looked at A New Hope from 49 years ago. It's so cool that they're able to bring everything in that. So again, I've said this on Mike's show a million times, just bring it all. I want all of this new stuff. I want the Old Republic. I want, or Knights of the, all that stuff. I want to know what's going on with Rey. I think that's going to be cool when they bring all this stuff. And I think that we're going to see somebody like, and I know we talked a little bit about it, but we're going to hopefully see Oscar Isaac, as Poe in Starfighter, or at some point again, so that we can have this all come together, and people are not going to be like, oh, this was terrible or this was bad. It's like, okay, cool. It adds to that story. Everything adds to the 1977 OG stuff, and it's so cool.
And that's why I wanted to ask you. It was a loaded question, because you're the most positive Star Wars fan I've ever met in my life. And that's why whenever I start to get a little bit down on something with Star Wars, I'm like, I'm going to text Ron, or I'm going to call Ron and see what he has to think about this, because you're always you have a good viewpoint of oh, I didn't love it, but here's why it works for me. And I love hearing that somebody who loved the original 3 and got to experience that, how excited you are about new things that come in. And I see Larry says the same thing. Bring it all.
Yeah.
I think that's inspiring, especially when you talk about the sequels, where it's a lot of us didn't love them, but as they're growing, just like the prequels, they're starting to get more steam. And I love that you want to see more, because I do too. I want them to fix it, maybe, but I want to see what they can do with it, because I feel like they're in a better space than they were during the pandemic.
Yeah, no, I could not agree with you more. I mean, when you look at, like you mentioned, Andor season 2, the ability to build off of something that happened 49 years before, or 48 years before, it could only happen in Star Wars, which is first and foremost really, really cool. But the fact that you can still be making content that good 48 years later is so cool. So for all the people that are like, oh, Disney killed Star Wars, Disney's what are we even talking about here? Because we just got some of the best Star Wars ever this year in 2025. It's
right.
It's so cool when you look to the future, because who knows what's going to be the next Andor, or at the same level as Andor, or whatever. Ahsoka season 2 could be that good, or the Mandalorian Grogu movie could be that good. It could be the next Empire Strikes Back, for all we know. We haven't seen it yet, but it is really cool that Star Wars is still going strong after all these years. And there's so many different avenues they're going down for animation and live action and different time periods and all that. It's just, as we say all the time, the greatest time to be a Star Wars fan.
It really is at this point, because like I said something the other day, I think on yours, or maybe it was here last week. I mean, we waited 3 years for these movies, in this cliffhanger. Oh, I'm your father. Oh shit. Now, okay. Now what? Wait a minute, what? This is the end of the movie?
Wait,
We're not
that's
gonna
your sister? You kissed her.
so it's so cool that everything is starting to come out and you're able to expand it, I think, without taking away from it. And I know a lot of people think that, they're taking away from what George did or what he, back and forth and stuff like that. But I think it's all good stuff that's coming out there. I don't really. What's the other animated one that's coming out later this year, Mike? Visions.
Yeah.
I haven't actually gotten into that.
Oh, I love them.
But,
They're so
but
good.
everything else, I think is fantastic, and I love that they're now coming out with more books in the comics, and I started to watch that, and I just got done with the first Cal Kestis game. Watching all that stuff, so again, just bringing all these characters in and being able to have them come to live action or come to animation from a comic book or from a game, like with Cal Kestis. And look at Ahsoka. Look at what a great character she is, and nobody even knew who she wasn't even created during the not even the prequels. She wasn't really even created, during the prequels. So
Nope.
you're getting these new characters that come out. Yeah, Thrawn was, but now we're sort of switching from canon to Legends, from Legends to canon. But what a great character he is, and they're bringing him to life. They brought him to the comics, and now they're bringing him to live action. And now they're gonna. Yeah, I'm assuming they're gonna bring him to a movie.
Yeah.
I appreciate how they've found a really good balance in the last several years of making the universe bigger, and they can also, like, Andor's a great example. We bring it up all the time. They can take a part of the Star Wars, timeline that we all know and love and make the universe so much bigger in such a small part of it. And they found this really good mix. I know we've talked about like projects we want to see or don't want to see, and we're all kind of good on the Skywalker thing, but they've shown that they're capable of jumping into that time and making the universe bigger with things that remind you and make you feel like you're in the same place you were when you were in the theater. And
absolutely,
I think they've really found their stride with that. I think it was a really tall order for them to, based on like actor and actress age, to just all of a sudden make your new thing 32 years down the line in the timeline and just go for it. Like, now I think they've caught the stride of like, we actually can make this thing bigger kind of systematically rather than, hitting you with movies and hoping it works out like things used to work back in the day, and it doesn't work like that anymore. So I don't know. I'm with you. I'm all for it. Kind of always been all for it. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I think we have seen the last drought, honestly. Like, whatever the last drought was, whether that was like pre-Andor or I don't know, but I think we've seen the last Star Wars content drought. I think we're going to be getting something every year for the next while.
Oh, yeah. I think you're getting multiple things every year for the next foreseeable future, at least, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, and they understand, like, we have some more people asking about your Chewie. We'll talk about that in a second. But, I think Disney understands, like, how many people are keeping their subscription to Disney Plus to wait to the next Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Like, I love the other stuff on Disney Plus. It's fine. But, like, Star Wars is the main reason I'm there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the Disney guy.
Hey, wait a minute! I just saw something. Watch this.
Oh God! Oh no!
I'm just saying.
Oh my God! I can't unsee that now.
That's awesome.
Oh man!
All right. Well, anyway, Ron, talk about your Chewie again for anybody that missed it.
Ron's got his Halloween costume.
Yeah, I did actually have a Vader one, and then I used it for a few years, which was really fun. But no, if you guys didn't see us at the beginning, I did get this from Home Depot. Chewie is 7 foot tall. He's really cool. I did have to unplug him because he is very noisy and he has a little sensor on him. So it's pretty cool. So I'm sure most of you guys have, especially on here, we all are Star Wars fans, so it's been popping up all over the place on from Home Depot and social media. And there is a stormtrooper, Darth Vader, and I haven't seen it yet, except for like a little ad here and there. There's supposed to be a Darth Vader one that's coming out too, which will be pretty cool. So.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Alec throwing down the gauntlet with Andor's the best Star Wars content since episode 6. Not wrong.
I'll take that argument. Me.
Take it, Mike. Go.
Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it's obviously a very objective
Well, I
thing.
was counting that as 1, 2, 3,
subjective.
4, 5, 6.
Oh, okay.
That's how I
Oh.
took it. Alec's younger, so he's probably your age, Mike.
All right, fine. Deal.
I'm gonna come at him since 5. I love Return of the Jedi, but Andor's just from like objective measures, I feel is like second only to Empire, in my opinion.
Oh, that's
I'll
so
throw
good.
it. I'll throw it
In
out
your
there.
opinion.
That's all.
Well, from a certain point of view.
From a certain
And I'm
point of
and I'm a big time Revenge of the Sith guy. I'll go toe to toe with Mike about Revenge of the Sith all day. But like
so click
there-
that link for the Revenge of the Sith blockheads.
yeah, but like I think maybe it's the shock factor. Like I'm not out of it yet, but Andor season 2 was touted as being really good, and it was even better than I thought it would be. So
How
it's
many
like
Emmys did they win?
I don't know, but when's the last time
4.
Star Wars was
4.
up for an Emmy for like
Right.
anything not visual? You know,
Yeah.
like never. So I think I don't know. It's just we'll see how I feel in a year, but I think
Yeah, so
it's
Alec, I
gonna-
don't think you're necessarily wrong by any means. I really respect that opinion because Andor, we all love Andor, so
Yeah.
that's not a mystery here.
My
But
only
welcome
thing
to the
would be
channel.
Ahsoka.
Oh,
That's after 6. So I would put that up there. But Ahsoka is, and I guess you could say Andor season 2 is because Andor season 1, but he just said Andor in general. Okay. Still, Ahsoka is lifted from Clone Wars in Rebels. Andor is purely just Andor. Like you don't need anything before that to enjoy and have Andor be at its peak. I guess you could say that you might want to see what comes after it, like Rogue One and A New Hope, because Rogue One, of course, you know where Cassian's story ends, so it makes the stuff in season 2 feel so much more impactful, like Bix leaving and them not listening to Luthen and all that stuff. It feels way more impactful because you know what happens in Rogue One. You know he's gonna die and he's never gonna see Bix again. Spoiler alert. But so I guess
did
you'd have
call
to
the
watch
pregnancy though.
after.
Yeah,
That's
you did.
true.
You did.
Eric got that.
You heard it
way
here,
before.
folks.
Yes.
I will
heard it here
also-
first.
I will also throw out there that I did not expect it from Andor season 1 to A New Hope to make such a great flow. I did not.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems so obvious now, but I was not thinking like this is a highly recommended watch, Andor from the very beginning all the way up to the end of A New Hope.
Yeah.
I would have never thought to recommend that to anybody, and it's fantastic.
Well, it's
and
weird
I
too.
think. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, because it's weird, because when Andor was announced, everybody was like, who cares? What are we even talking about? Cassian
Yeah.
Andor? He's dead. What are we talking about?
Yeah,
And then it turns out to be like one of the greatest projects ever, but also it establishes so many important characters to Rogue One and A New Hope that aren't on screen, like Luthen and Clea, etc. Like those characters, Bix and those characters that are so important that never would exist before Andor. So that's sort of a lesson for the future us when the next thing gets announced. That's like could be anything for all we know, and we'll be like, who cares? But we'll be thinking in the back of our head, we said the same thing about Andor, and look what happened there. Or even Skeleton Crew. When Skeleton Crew was announced, we were like, what even is this? Nobody knows. Jude Law, cool, but whatever. And then it turned out to be great. So
Yeah, I mean, I'll say like I loved Rogue One. It's my second favorite Star Wars full movie.
Yeah.
But when Andor came out, I was like, nobody wants this. Like, why are we getting this? Like, give us more Maul. Give me more Maul. But then it came out and like I'm obsessed with Andor. And Alex said it well too. Like Rogue One's way better film after watching Andor. I feel like Andor, like I loved Rogue One from day one. Like first time
Yeah.
watching, I was like, this is it. This is my number one. I mean, Empire's my number one, but like for things I've seen like first in the theater,
Yeah.
amazing. But Andor only enhances things.
Mhm.
And how they kept that going, and like how it, initially some people gave it bad press for the Andor, and I was like, I was not seeing it. I'm like, we
Yeah.
wanted character development. We hadn't really gotten that really slow burn character development in Star Wars as much, and they
Yeah.
gave it to us in Andor.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I
and
think I think regardless, well, for me, Rogue One was a top 5 movie for me. It wasn't even in my top 3, but because of Andor, now it's like top 3, maybe top 2. It's the same argument like Revenge of the Sith. Regardless, Revenge of the Sith is my favorite movie, but the elevation of the Clone Wars, the elevation of Ahsoka leaving the Order, and all those things happening beforehand that make Revenge of the Sith a better movie. Like that is the same thing that happens with Rogue One. Because for me, I had A New Hope above it. I had, of course, Empire in Revenge of the Sith. I probably even had Return of the Jedi above it too. But when Andor happens and all that added stuff is there, Rogue One goes skyrocketing because now when you watch it, you can't deny that the other stuff exists and you're not thinking about it in the back of your head. So it becomes one of the best movies.
I've told people consistently, like, believe it or not, in my day to day, I run into people who have never seen Star Wars or maybe like casually saw them years ago.
Yep.
And so I find myself like when I talk about Andor, they're like, so that's about this guy, the guy from this other movie. And I was like, it is, but don't let the title deceive you. It's actually, it carries the weight of the franchise with it, honestly. Like it carries a lot more than just, because I was the same way. I was like, I'm excited for anything that comes out, but I wasn't asking for what I got to learn about a guy who I already know is going to die and already did the cool thing. Like what, but it's way more than that. Obviously we all know that. But I found myself, I would probably not talk to a casual fan and say, you got to watch after Attack of the Clones, you got to watch 7 seasons of Clone Wars, and then you got to watch Revenge of the Sith. I've never once considered that recommendation to everybody.
Yeah.
I kind of am considering whether or not to throw Andor and Rogue One into the mix of original trilogy viewing. And I've never done it, but I'm like, you know what? If you're going to watch any, I've always told people who haven't seen Star Wars, if you're going to watch any of them and you're not that interested in it, watch Rogue One. Well, now if I give that recommendation, how am I not going to tell them to watch Andor? Because I can't separate them anymore.
I agree to an extent, but honestly, I think Andor works better if you've already seen Rogue One. Like I think you would still say watch Rogue One and then you can watch Andor.
That's what I'm saying. They'll go together. Like I wouldn't tell them like watch Rogue One, then watch A New Hope. I would say you should probably watch Rogue One, then watch Andor, and then let's talk,
But I could see this as, Nick, you're somebody who is younger, so you also love the prequels. You love a lot of them.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the younger way to go. Whereas like me, I didn't get to see the original ones in theater. I was too young, but I am at the age where I was like, the prequels were coming out when I was just past my like toy prime of Star Wars. So I'm like, I love the prequels so much. I loved them when they came out, but I'm still very much you watch it in the original order or else you get out of here.
Me too. Me too. We have a whole episode about it. I'm with you.
Yeah, but there are times where like as I'm watching more things and switching around, like there's so many cool theories about if you watch it this way and you get a totally different experience. But like how long we've seen the stat of like how long would it take if you watch Star Wars for 12 hours a day? How long would it take you to finish all of the content? And it's like, it's a lot of time.
Well, and I think that's where you have to be a fan like us to do that. And I think the normie fans, it's a lot to take in all at once. And when you guys were talking about the Andor and Rogue One and into A New Hope, I would almost I agree with you in reference to watching Rogue One and then maybe going to Andor, but I also think because and maybe it's just because we've seen it or I've seen it, it's such a freaking great story to bring you up to what we've known, and that was the best part for me. I think and it's just like I'm coming around to the sequels, with the book that we've continuously talked about, Mike. Shadow of the Sith, but there's going to be more stuff coming out. I feel like, and I think that's what's going to happen with the sequels as well. But for me, when the whole Mustafar thing in Darth Vader on a lava planet was literally talked about in the 80s. I mean, that leaked out, or it was however it came out. I mean, we already knew, we didn't get to see it, but we already knew something like that was going to happen if it ever came to fruition, when it did. And then to see that in live action was like, oh, this is cool. Now we get to see how Darth Vader got to where he is. And that's the same thing. And I will go to my grave with Solo was a freaking awesome movie, I think, for us OG guys, because you got to see Han Solo meet Chewie. You get to see him get the Millennium Falcon from Lando. You got to see some of these other new things that were, in these new characters and stuff, which were fantastic. And same with Book of Boba Fett for me. These are bringing me back, like you said, Derek. It's bringing me back to the original OG stuff, which is cool. And everything else that's out there still is relatable to the OG stuff, because that's where it all started. And when you have something like Solo or Andor that brings a little bit more information into these characters and the politics in this universe, it's just fantastic what everybody has done with this. Again, Skeleton Crew, great, but I think Atten was the biggest thing in that. Yeah, because same with, like we were saying, Mike, with the Bad Batch. To have I can't think of it right now. What were you talking about with the Bad Batch? The thing
Mount Tantus.
Yeah, Mount Tantus. So again, they're bringing these things in so we can get some sort of explanation. I think we're going to get an explanation for why Luke was a grumpy old hermit and throws a lightsaber away. At some point, we're going to get that, and they're starting to build on these things. There's no reason, or there is a reason, obviously, that Darth Revan and Cal Kestis are in this new Lego thing.
Yep.
There's a reason that Atten was brought into this.
Yeah.
So,
and do you guys think, this is mostly for Ron, but for everybody, I'll let everybody field this one. Do you feel like 30/40 years of holes in the story / things that were weird about the story made Star Wars better because of what we have now?
I guess, but I just love more I just love more Star Wars. Just new characters, new stories, because they're not going to give it to some schlep. I don't care what other people say about Leslie Hanlon or some of these other people that did, Rian Johnson or some of these other movies and live actions and stuff like that. If you're a Star Wars fan, these are good, informational, and they were done very well. And let
me like rephrase that too. Like when I say the holes in the story, I love how they have patched some of the problems, quote unquote problems, with these other series like Andor and
Kenobi.
Yeah, I think Larry said the holes in the story built the mystery for sure. It was like, you don't think of everything. Like when George Lucas was thinking, he was so far beyond what most people's brains had a concept of what Star Wars was. He was on another planet. But because of those issues and those holes in the story that we had been asking for years and years and years, and now we've gotten them decades later, to me, that's what makes Star Wars so powerful.
Yeah.
Is that we got all these extra stories to fill in those gaps, and now there's more gaps.
Yeah. Well, not even like, there are even things that aren't even holes, like the plans being stolen by the rebels is just a thing that you're informed of to start the movie. And I'll be honest with you, like, did anyone get on the internet at its conception and say, hey, now that we have the internet, how the hell did they steal those plans? Let's
Yeah.
argue about it for 20 years. No, they just said like, hey, we're going to do this. Remember this sentence? We're going to do this. And now we have Andor and Rogue One for it.
Yeah.
The holes thing is also great. I agree with Larry. I think it builds mystery. I like when Star Wars has a little bit of mystery, and I do like when they almost answer it. So
Yeah.
like, I like how, I'll be the one tonight. In the Acolyte, we just see Plagueis and there's nothing. Like, that actually raises
No,
more
we're going to get
questions.
more.
Yep, just actually raises more questions than it answered, but it does something, and I like when there's mystery. I like when the Force is weird. I like when that happens, but they've been so good about taking those mysteries and showing us another one, going this way.
Well, I mean, right now, like you said, the Acolyte, of course, has left us on a big cliffhanger. There's a bunch of big mysteries in Star Wars, from the sequel trilogy setting up a ton of them, like Luke Skywalker, Palpatine's return, all that. But even Ahsoka season 1 ends with this huge cliffhanger of Thrawn making it back to the galaxy. But not just that, Balin Skoll standing on Mortis God statues, looking out into the distance at this thing, like so much cool, leaves you debating online, leaves us fans having conversations to have, which is really, really cool. But as yeah, exactly, that's a great point. Yoda's backstory, like certain things that will never be answered, like that's what keeps fans talking and predicting and theorizing and all that great stuff. But as I think another Mike who loves Star Wars said in the chat, great name by the way, Rogue One fixes the issue of the easy destruction of the Death Star. The fact that one X-Wing can destroy the entire gigantic planet-killing weapon that the Empire spent so much time building. That was kind of dumb. Like, it's not something you think of a lot, but when you think about it, you're like, yeah, that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize that that was put there as a flaw on purpose by Galen Erso because of Rogue One. Like, that makes it 1,000 times better a story.
Yeah.
And obviously, like you said, some questions didn't need to be answered, like how they got the Death Star plans. Like the first line of the opening crawl of Star Wars, or the first paragraph, it explains it, but seeing it is a lot cooler too. But like Kenobi answering a bunch of questions about like when the last time they fought was, why he calls him Darth, and how he knows Anakin's still alive. Like all those questions from A New Hope that was 40 years before are answered in the Kenobi series. Or even, I guess, the Clone Wars answers some questions about the prequel trilogy. Like it happens over and over and over again. A little thing that was left open-ended explained. For example, Tales of the Jedi. This comes out 20 years after the prequels and explains who deleted Kamino from the Jedi archives. We kind of knew that it was going to be Dooku, but seeing that was so cool. Like seeing that actually happen, that's awesome. Little details like that. Season 6 of the Clone Wars showing us Sifo Dyas and explaining how he created the clone army. Like just explanations of things that didn't really need explanations, but it's cool to see. Like that's some of the coolest stuff in Star Wars.
When you think of Tales of the Empire, like how long were those episodes? Not long.
Not long at all. Like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and they're incredible. They're
awesome.
like some of my favorite Star Wars content. And
yeah,
it doesn't need a lot.
Explains Asajj Ventress's surviving, and like it's the perfect example because it's called Tales of the Blank, and they're using it just to answer those questions. Like, where was Ahsoka? Where's Ahsoka right after Revenge of the Sith? Well, she went into hiding, and then Bail Organa is the one who brings her back out as Fulcrum, and then you see her in Rebels. That explains that. Dooku, same thing as I just mentioned. Asajj Ventress, how she survived her death in the canon novel. That
Morgan Elsbeth,
and working with
she ends
Thrawn.
up in Ahsoka. Yeah,
exactly. So Tales is the perfect place to explain those things in little 10, 15-minute episodes with characters that people love, and just add on to the greatness of these great characters.
Yeah. Well, and I know Ron will agree with me on this one, but a certain point of view needs to be a show. Like even if they're so great, and like I know like they're just little filler things, and they're kind of off the wall, but like to me the one that always comes back is the Jawas, and like hearing the point of view of a Jawa, and how they don't want to be there, and they want to be more than just a Jawa on the crawler. It's like that is so cool to hear that. And
Yeah.
I would love little 5-minute or 10-minute shorts
Yeah.
of a certain point of view.
Derek, I got one for you.
Okay.
What if they did Visions, but just did the certain point of view books?
Oh my God.
That would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
That would be really
Isn't
cool.
that,
Take my
isn't that the
money.
perfect format for them too? Just
Yeah.
like
yes.
quick.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Pick the best ones of and make a little.
Oh,
How many episodes are in Visions every year?
I'll
12,
help fund that.
15?
I think it's even less than that. But no, I completely agree. I think not just in animation, like the Tales and Vision stuff, in books and comics, they've explained stuff. Like a lot of Vader's backstory or middle story between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, that's explained in comics, or even in the books. You have a lot of stuff with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Like there's a lot of room for explanation in the smaller projects that only hardcore fans are probably going to read or watch. But that's like what makes it good for us. Like that's what makes it fun for us. A normie fan's not going to watch that stuff, but who cares? We're going to get the cool little details that you don't know about.
Well, it's just like that new the Darth Vader comic series with Kylo. We're learning so much more about Kylo, the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
A couple different new characters that are coming into that as well, which is really cool. So I think it's awesome that we're able to get that. And to Derek's point, yes, those books. If you guys are on here, and obviously you're on here because you're Star Wars fans, if you haven't read or listened to A Certain Point of View, the 3 books, you have to go to. You want to talk about filling holes and just again understanding what it's like to be just an Imperial Guard or a Jawa or a computer on a ship. They talk about these things, and even Boba Fett has a little spot where you're in their brain, sort of like Nick always goes back to with the novels. We get to see and hear a lot more of what these characters are thinking as we're reading it, because obviously on screen we don't have the little pop-ups that say this is what I'm thinking, but you're able to understand a little bit more about this universe. And again, like me and Mike have talked about, the audiobooks with the sound effects and the different characters, the voices and stuff like that make it so unique that you feel like you're on Tatooine, you're in Mos Eisley, you're wherever you are. They're just such a good filler for that. And it doesn't have to be about Yoda. It doesn't have to be about Luke. It's some of these other characters that we see, the 2 twin sisters that are in the cantina when Ben, cuts off his arm and Luke, and they're there to meet Han and Chewie. There's a little segment on the 2 twin sisters, which is really cool. So things like that are really, really cool to just fill in those blanks. But again, for me, the one blank I don't want filled in, I don't want to know anything about Yoda. And I think they will stick to that. I think they've done it this long.
For sure.
I think that they're going to just keep him a mysterious, species, different things, so we know enough about him to know what's going on. Like you've talked about, Mike, with what's Grogu going to say and what's he going to sound like. He's not going to sound like Yoda. He's not going to speak like Yoda. Yoda learned that from his master, so we're not going to be talking backwards.
Well, then to your point, Ron, about all that stuff, like for more casual fans, you don't need it. It's always nice to tell like someone who's getting into it. You don't need the novels, comics, all the little stuff, but you'll want it if you get into it, right? Like you'll want this stuff, and we can tell you about it. You can tune in every Wednesday night and we can tell you all about it, and that's great. And for a little context of what I said earlier, I have found especially when talking to someone who doesn't keep up with it, doesn't seem to have an interest in it, but they would like it, the best hook for them, in my opinion, is Rogue One. That's what I was trying to say earlier. It's like, regardless of what you think, it's a great movie. Yeah. And now we have Andor, which, regardless of what you think about Star Wars, is a phenomenal show. Yeah. And there's no Star Wars required for that. You can watch those and be great. And I think it's really interesting that we now have different entry points for all of this stuff. To go back to your question to Ron earlier about how does an OG feel about it, like, we all want the movies to be the entry point, but as we said before, plenty of kids got their entry point from the Clone Wars. Now people might get their entry point because they heard how good Andor was.
Yeah.
And, like we now have all of these larger universe, examples of how to get into this thing that ultimately as fans, I think we should all be really excited about. But it never ends. You can go look, man, I wonder about, Larry just asked about Vader's suit. It's probably out there. I don't know where they got the suit, but it's probably out there. I know about the suit, It's very, diabolical suit, by the way. But it's probably out there. You don't need it, but most of the questions you have, like, we could investigate for a while and probably come up with something. And that's only possible because they're making the universe bigger.
Oh, look at Mandalorian. I mean, that sort
Mhm.
of came out of nowhere, and people love it with Grogu. And somebody said, Max Rebo experience. You're right. Grogu did come from somewhere. I hope they don't spoil that either. With it's obviously the same species as Yoda.
I think Grogu is going to be the child of Yoda, which only makes sense. But I don't even know if they'll outright say that. I feel like a lot of mystery about Grogu will be explained, but the mystery that I'm more concerned about is where he was from Order 66 to now. But and to that point, yes, Mando is also a good starting point and probably an introduction for a lot of kids now too, because of Grogu and because of Disney Plus. Like, it's the perfect spot to sort of be like, oh, I got Disney Plus. There's no Star Wars movies coming out right now. I'll watch The Mandalorian. And that right there, it's very ground level. It's very, original trilogy feel, kind of dirty and whatever. It's a lot of Tatooine involved too. But just Grogu in general.
A little spaghetti Western too.
Exactly. And then season 2 comes along and you get all these connecting pieces to other things. But it's definitely a good jumping off point. And I think the same thing will be said about the Mandalorian Grogu movie when it comes out next year. I think it's going to be a lot of people's first time seeing Star Wars in a theater because it's been 7 years since the last movie. So a lot of people are going to get introduced to Star Wars for the first time with this movie, which is crazy. Yeah. I pulled it up over here. This is an article from 2024. So no Skeleton Crew and no Andor and no Tales of the Underworld, but it is how long would it take to watch all Star Wars movies and shows? So it says with 26 distinct movies or TV shows. So I'm guessing now it's 29 because of Underworld, Tales of the Underworld, Andor Season 2, and Skeleton Crew. It claims to be, so without those 3, it claims to be with credits, 9 days, 1 hour, and 3 minutes.
For
non-stop.
12 hours a day or
no, nonstop.
Oh.
9 days, 1 hour, and 3 minutes. So I'd say you probably have to add with Andor and Skeleton Crew at least another 12 hours, probably more, with the longevity of those Andor episodes. So you're talking about probably 14, 15 hours more. So 9 days and 16 hours about.
Oh my gosh.
By the way,
Austin said I could do it in 7 days.
Built different.
Somehow, somewhere.
I'd like to see that. The world between worlds watching.
Fast forward it.
You got 3 TVs going on.
Yeah.
Times 2 speed.
To go back to Mandalorian, I think this is interesting from Max Rebo. Welcome back, Max Rebo. I think some of this stuff is interesting also, because of this. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This kind of jumps me off to a Mandalorian Grogu question. When we talk about that movie and what comes of it, I almost routinely forget about Grogu because I'm so focused on how it's going to build into other things. I routinely forget about him because he kind of is our glue to anything in the future if he presumably survives. I don't think they have the guts to kill him off. Yeah, so like as Luke said, whatever he does is going to take up people's lifetimes. And I don't know. Do you guys ever? Is he just kind of going to be the sidekick forever, or are we ever going to see him get a little older? We don't know how they age actually, like those things.
Or
to your point earlier, we don't know anything
alive.
about it. Yeah,
I think
Mike, you
he'll
want to take this one?
I just think he'll be along for the ride, like for the Mandalorian Grogu movie at least, and probably the trilogy. just the Mandoverse in general, he'll just be along for the ride. I think once you get past the sequels, I think he's going to be a character because I don't think he'll be involved with the new Jedi Order. I don't. He's gone down the path of the Mandalorians. He's going to stick that way. I think he's going to be a very interesting character because he can live to 800, 900 years old, that he'll just be around doing awesome, cool stuff, probably with the Mandalorians, where you'll just see him every once in a while. Like he won't be a character that's involved that much, like Yoda was in the High Republic books. Like he's not around. He's one of the coolest Jedis in the galaxy at the time, but he's not ever there to help out. Like he's doing other things. And I think that's what Grogu's going to be utilized as. He'll be around for the next 800 years, but he won't be that involved in many stories. And when he is involved, it'll be like this, oh my God, Grogu's back type thing. Hopefully. And then when he does come...
Oh, go ahead.
Well,
sorry.
just the last part. When he comes back too, he'll be a lot older. He'll look a lot older because Yoda was training people at 100.
Right.
Also depends what they do with the Mandalorians, what happens with them.
Also true.
So.
Well, Austin said maybe he's a clone with accelerated aging. Maybe he's the love child of Omega and Yoda. we don't know.
Or Yaddle.
I don't think he's a clone, but I think he could have some sort of a growth spurt because like humans have growth spurts when from ages 0 to 18, and then you stop growing. So Grogu's going to have some sort of growth spurt coming up here, and then probably around the age 100 or whatever it is, he stops growing and he's Yoda for the rest of his life, or looks like Yoda for the rest of his life. And I think, when you look at Grogu now versus Grogu when we first saw him in Mando season 1, already he looks a lot older. But I'm talking about like he grows a little bit. He can actually speak now, like just an actual growth spurt. And that'll probably happen before the end of the sequels. But like what you said, what are the Mandalorians up to? Because none of them are in the sequels. And as far as we're aware, none of them are supposed to be in Starfighter or the Rey movie. So what are those Mandalorians doing?
Well, there's also the weird math of their ages between like Grogu and Yoda. So if Grogu's 50-something, and he acts like a baby. So he's 1/16 of what Yoda is, or 1/18 of what Yoda is, but Yoda literally acts like an old man. Like I don't know. I don't know where we don't know, and we probably never will. We'll only learn it through whatever happens with Grogu, of like how they age or what the hell's going on there.
When you brought that up, it just made me remember. It would be, you kill to watch any Star Wars thing for the first time ever, but Mando season 1, episode 1, when he's going for the bounty and he tells him that it's 50 years old, and then like nobody's thinking it's a Yoda species. Nobody. If somebody tells you that, they're lying to you. Nobody saw that coming. And then as he sort of walks in the room, then you start thinking like, okay, the 50-year-old thing is definitely a trick. Like it's in this pod. And then he opens it and it's Grogu, and you're like, holy crap. But to feel that again for the first time would be so cool because you just don't expect it.
And then for about half a second, you think he shot it.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Because you don't know that the show's going to be about them. They did zero marketing of it whatsoever.
Right.
So you don't know what kind of show it's going to be. Yeah.
Right. They want it to be such a huge surprise. So when we see this cute little baby Yoda at the time, it's like, oh, shit.
They're so good at keeping those secrets. That's why when we hear this Rot of the Hutt, Embo stuff with the Mandalorian Grogu movie, I'm like, I don't believe that for a second. Because I think whatever they're actually telling in this is like Mando season 1. They don't want a single bit of it getting out, and it won't. It won't.
Remember all the heavy marketing for Enfys Nest with the Solo movie?
Yeah.
And she's like barely in the movie. Like
the bag. Who even is that?
Yeah. She looks great, but like barely in the movie. And that was like every trailer was almost every scene that character is in.
Yeah.
And so
they're like really trying to look like the Funko Pops, because like they did like 3 Funko Pops just for that. Yeah. I was like, oh wow, it's gonna be huge. And it's like, okay. But Austin had an interesting point of, I think it'll be hard to be anything than not a main character for Grogu, because it's a puppet. Seems hard to do logistically. Look at technology. Look at what's happened in the last month with AI. Now with like Gemini being like, I just made a picture of me like wearing clothes that didn't exist. So like
Yeah.
Things are
I'm-
getting so out of hand with graphics and AI and video.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's going to be a problem. I don't think that's going to be a hindrance.
Well, I just don't think that they'll use Grogu as a main character anyway. Even when they
That's
do,
what I think. Yeah.
Din Djarin's still there, and he's just sort of a sidekick type thing. But I guess he is a main character as much as Din is. But even still, he's not the main character, I guess. But yeah, going back on that AI stuff, I just made for my what if. I just made a full conversation between Uncle Owen and Obi-Wan that never happened in A New Hope, and it's awesome. It's me the entire time. I'm talking, but I just turn my voice into Obi-Wan and I turn my face into Obi-Wan. It's crazy.
Max Rebo said Disney almost ruined it because there was no merch available for 6 months. Buddy, that was the pandemic. It came out in November.
Well,
I worked in manufacturing at that point. Like
that is
nobody
true.
had product.
But they also didn't. They had like a couple months where they didn't realize that Grogu was going to be a big success. They didn't know that the Mandalorian was going to be as big as it was. So the Mandalorian drops in November, and for Christmas they don't have any Grogu toys. So that was a big deal because then the pandemic happens, and then they can't make any toys. So
They
it was
also had just released Rise of Skywalker, which had dominated the merch
Yes.
lines as well.
exactly.
Right.
So they
Right. And I
almost the
saw a lot
Mandalorian
of
was
that
like
where they knew that they I saw some other stories that they knew they couldn't even make and put any production of anything Grogu because it would get leaked
it
immediately.
would get leaked out. Because
Right.
that's
Especially like with China factories and stuff. They don't
Yes.
have copyright laws
Yes.
there.
Well, that always happens like months out before a show starts. The first leaks we get are toys. It always is toys. So they probably were like, we can't do any toys. And then they were like, we'll do the toys after. And then after was a global pandemic that they didn't think was going to happen. So
Yeah,
that
Max Rebo said Mando was 2019. Yeah, November 2019, which I was in China November 2019 at factories for my old job.
Oh
Let me
my
tell
God.
you, I can insider tell you there was nothing coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one, they leak from toys or Qui-Gon's noble end on a soundtrack. And then I don't ooh, what's
Nice
that?
harmonica.
That's what Derek was in.
A little harp.
A little
Yes,
hard.
sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, you have November of Mandalorian coming out, December Rise of Skywalker coming out, very minimal Mandalorian merch, a ton of Rise of Skywalker merch, and then Grogu City, freaking Christmas present of the year that didn't exist.
Yep.
I mean, I had friends and clients who were desperately trying to get their kid a Grogu toy, couldn't,
Yeah.
didn't exist, and
Well,
then
first
they were
things-
everywhere.
Well, first things first, Tony in the chat. Shout out to Tony. He's one of my first ever viewers on my channel, but love Tony. Andor didn't have many toys either. Because honestly, when you think of Andor, it doesn't have much to market except for the characters themselves. So like a Cassian Andor toy, I guess. But there's no Grogu. There's no like mini character like that where there's somebody to market like a Grogu. Yeah. Baby
Derek,
Yoda.
what have you done to us?
I know, Austin. You have no idea. I came back. I
Austin-
came back, and then I went to NAMM in California, and then I was sick for like 3 weeks. Was on a cruise ship with.
You're like, what the hell's
Oh
going
my
on
gosh.
here?
It was. I flew like to 6 different cities in the U.S. from November 2019 until February.
Austin, I was thinking the
yeah.
exact same thing you were, but I wasn't going to say it.
So possibly.
There you go.
was
B2, I
pretty
guess.
sick.
Yeah, you could have merchandised the hell out of B2, and I guess I don't know. I just Andor didn't seem like, unless the Black Series toys, which are just the action figures,
Right.
But there wasn't anything big to go off of. Like you weren't going to be getting Grogu like little. Well, I guess pop figures too. Pop figures are probably big for Andor, but that's about it.
I think they have more to lose too if they go all in on a series. When
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, they have a lot more to lose if they just put out a shitload of Legos, pardon my language, a bunch of Legos of stuff that people might not get, and then it's all out
Yes.
there.
That's true too.
Whereas for a movie, you can kind of pump the airwaves and do whatever you want, especially for Star Wars. I mean, and then they always pick a couple things like a Jar Jar or a Porg or a Grogu that just light it up. And then-
Actually, what's interesting, and I never thought of it until this very second, was they've transitioned from the sequel trilogy all came out in December, Christmas releases. That didn't give them the time for anybody to buy Star Wars stuff that is in the new movie stuff for Christmas because that's when they came out. So
Fiscal
maybe
year.
yeah, exactly. Maybe they're obviously there's 1,000 reasons why they're moving to May, but maybe they're moving to May because well, Mandalorian Grogu will be huge for May till August or September, and then after that, everybody will be buying Grogu toys and other things from the movie for Christmas. So it's just like a whole year long event of Mandalorian and Grogu. It honestly is genius, and you don't have to market the movie beforehand or do the merchandise beforehand because you can do it after for Christmas.
Right.
And to Max Rebo's point, that's probably the thing they need to change is if they could put out porgs prior to The Last Jedi coming out and it doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah.
Like porg's not an essential part of the movie. It's in the trailer a couple times. Everyone thought it was funny. Put them out.
Yeah.
Same with Jar Jar Binks. He's in the trailer. Oh, cool. Grogu was like they didn't put anything out to indicate what the show was going to be really, other than like a Western Mandalorian thing, or that Grogu was in it at all. And that might have been the misfire, not so much the merch, but the timing of like a month before Christmas. And we can't let out the thing that they absolutely will want to buy yet. Like there you go. Like you could.
Somebody said B2. Now there's the B2 battle droid and there's the B2 emo. That's the B2 emo. So
there you go.
If you guys are, this was a 2-piece set, so you couldn't just buy that one. Ron, you've got all those, don't you? You have to. I know you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, of course.
I mean,
we need to show that.
I mean, come on.
You need to make a new scene with your Funko.
I got my
Pop
Chewbacca
wall.
He's holding a pork. Oh my God, he's holding a pork.
Oh,
look at you. I don't. Do I have that?
Murder.
One? Maybe.
He eats this guy.
I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah, but do you have the Porg pommel for the lightsaber?
I do not. That's sick though.
It is so cool.
Oh, and that's the sad part, I guess, for me is it just keeps adding on and adding on. But I have started to get better with stuff like that with Andor, even with Skeleton Crew. I think I have Neil, but I don't think I have any other Funko, and I have Jod, not Howard. But there's just so much stuff coming out, and I mean, my room, and we'll have to do that someday. Maybe when Nick's here, we'll have to do a little.
I can come
room review,
yes.
just to go over all of the stuff that I have in here.
You know how many videos we could make of you going through stuff?
Oh my gosh, that'd be a whole month.
We would all love it.
Things.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that. Now, actually, there was some Skeleton Crew Funko Pops on like deep discount at Target a couple weeks ago because they were ones that like people didn't think they wanted. And there's even like, I remember Poe Dameron was one that you couldn't give away. And now, but like people love Poe. I love Poe, but it was just one of those Funkos. It was just like, I don't know. MTV Cribs Ron's office.
There you go.
There you go.
Maybe we need to make that happen. I need to make a Nashville trip again.
Come on.
Derek's going down. I'm going to come down.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, and then actually, while you're here, Mike, and we have a decent amount of people on, but May we are. I don't think if we've talked to Derek or Nick about this, we definitely need. We're going to be making a trip north for the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
Movie. Mike's gonna get some stuff together, and we're gonna go up to the Boston area and watch the Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
I'm gonna find the closest theater to like Logan Airport, just so everybody can get there fast. Just so it's easiest for everybody who has to fly in, perchance. But I mean, I've already kind of made a list in my head of people who could come or would come, and I mean, just like 100%, I'm already over 20 people. So like, I don't think we'll have a problem filling up a 50 to 100 seat theater by any means.
Yeah. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to. Well, and like you said yesterday, we'll start working on that more probably right after the first of the year and get things situated, and then people can start. But if you're listening now, start saving. If you're worrying about a road trip, you need to start now. Ask for money for Christmas, all that stuff.
It's just the idea of watching the newest Star Wars movie in a theater full of Star Wars fans is so pleasing to me because the last couple of movies I've watched have just been with annoying ass people in my theater who are like making so much noise with their popcorn or their phones going off or they're talking wicked loud to the person next to them. I'm like, I'm trying to watch Superman here.
Oh, Max Rebo, you're in Pittsburgh. My favorite Star Wars tattoo artist is in Pittsburgh, so that's
There you
where
go.
my gaffy stick came from.
There you go. Pittsburgh's not
Go.
that far. Just a little road trip.
A little hop, skip, jump, fly away.
Yeah.
And actually, Nick's driven up that way a few times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm
Hey,
flying.
caravan
Flying.
with me, Ron.
No, I'm flying.
Get to know,
Road trip.
I'm also
get to
flying.
know
I'm in
the
Iowa
open
right now.
road.
No,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily warm enough. Like right now, I got the top and the doors off of Bloodfin, which is the name of my Jeep. That's a quiz for all you three guys. What's
Writing it down.
Bloodfin? Write it down now. We'll put that in the poll.
Larry, you can meet me up here in Nashville. We'll fly together. We'll head up that way together.
There you
There
go.
you
Austin
that.
Austin can drive to the airport, fly to Nashville, drive with me to Boston, fly home to
Wait, I would actually do
Minneapolis.
that.
Yeah.
Now that I would do.
Yeah.
See, well, like we got Larry
Planes,
coming. we
trains,
got
and
Ron coming.
automobiles.
We got all these people coming. We could just have a giant concert too while we're at it because we got all these people coming that are musicians.
Hey, let's do it. Ron can play some harp. I'll facilitate. I'm not playing anything.
Derek will sing.
No.
Derek's lead singer.
Yeah.
Nah,
Max
I'll play
Rebo's
drums.
gonna be there, so
Yes.
We're
Oh my
handling-
god.
We got keys.
We got the legendary Max Rebo.
Be an Australian man. Larry's living the life.
Dang, Larry.
Oh,
Back
mate.
in Australia. Nice.
Dang.
That's pretty cool. I know we didn't get to everything on here. I did want while we're here because I want to see what you guys think about this as well. I know Mike had this on yesterday. I'm going to play this Oscar Isaac video or interview for you guys and anybody else that's on here, and then curious to see what you think about this.
And we want to see you back reunited with Ryan Gosling. Will that happen anytime soon for Star Wars? Bring him back
For Star Wars, man. We'll see. I mean, yeah.
You know.
Hey,
And
man.
It's
I
like
get it.
before Frank Costanza.
right. Well, yeah. I'm ready for it. You let me know when.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Okay.
You're amazing.
I think he's lying.
Well,
Just go.
it's clearly he can't answer one way or another. You know,
Right.
like he's like biting his tongue almost. Like he's like, yeah, I'm ready for it. Let's do it. Like a couple years ago, the answer would have been completely different. Like I'm good with Star Wars. I did my time, like all that stuff. But now we're getting like I'm open to it. Yep, let's do it. Like I think there's
because he
talks
knows
happening.
people like love his character.
Yeah.
Just because
Exactly.
the movies weren't as well received then, now
Yeah,
it's
this
like,
movie-
oh, we love you, buddy.
This movie's called Starfighter. Let's be honest. It's Starfighter, and Ryan Gosling could be a Starfighter pilot for all we know. Who knows? But Poe Dameron is the Starfighter pilot at this point in the timeline, and he's supposed to also be the leader of the Resistance. Now the First Order's gone. Like, what does the galaxy look like now? I don't think if he is in the movie, he'll have that bigger role, but I think he's definitely in the movie. And when it comes to Daisy or Ray, I guess, and Finn, I think they could both technically be in that Starfighter movie. I just don't think so. I think it's going to be a very much Starfighter is the new Rogue One, and Poe Dameron's Leia in it, or Tarkin in it, like has a small role but a pretty big role at the same time. And maybe Leia is Rey, like she shows up at the very end to kickstart us off into a new hope or new Jedi Order or whatever we're calling the Rey movie now. I think it's going to be the Kickstarter to a post-sequel world, but also be very connected to those characters. And Poe Dameron seems like the ultimate no-brainer in all scenarios because it's called Starfighter.
Well, Max Rebo's experience I think that's actually that would be pretty cool. We start off with Ryan being Poe's wingman, and then at the end, Ray accepting that kid into her academy.
Whoa, and the broom guy, broom kid, or
Broom boy.
broom boy. There you go. Sorry.
I like Broom Kid better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Broom
Lying
boy.
is the new PR move. It's not really. Actors just
kind of
get
been that way forever.
Yeah, actors just get asked stuff all the time on these red carpets that they can't answer. Legally, they can't answer it because they'll get in big old trouble for spoiling everything. And they sign these crazy NDAs.
Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
To just keep it a mystery.
Yeah.
And Starfighter's filming right now. Like it just started filming a couple weeks ago. And if Poe is going to be in it at all, he probably won't have to be there the whole time. So
Right.
Oscar Isaac's clearly not there right now. But just like Hayden Christensen has been at cons while Ahsoka season 2 is filming, these characters that don't play lead roles in these movies, they can do other things. Like Oscar Isaac doesn't need to be there 24/7, but he could be there right after this red carpet happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and that's the beauty of it as well, because he might be in the first scene, but they're not
Yeah.
going to film it until 2 months from now. So he
Yep.
could definitely be in it, and then when they get done editing it, obviously he comes to the front of the movie or wherever. So again, if there is, and that was my thing a little bit with Jimmy Smits, that he was that busy for that long while they were doing Andor. I was like,
Yeah.
bro,
we know there's more
You
to
need
it
you
than
for a
that.
half an hour
Let's be
later.
real.
half a day.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, let's be real. There's more to
I'm
it.
sorry.
yeah. Well, what's funny to me is how I've never filmed a movie before, but how they film these movies. Like they start sometimes with the last scene. I saw some behind the scenes interview with Chris Columbus, I think his name is, who did the first Harry Potter movies. He said that the first thing they filmed for the first Harry Potter movie was the last scene of the movie. I was like, that just seems so backwards and wrong. I don't know. It just feels weird. But you're absolutely right. He could be at the beginning of the movie. He could be at the end of the movie, but it doesn't matter. It's where they film it, because they film it just in so many random different orders when they're filming these movies. It's really, honestly, makes you give a lot more credit to these actors, because how the hell do they know what's going on and when and how they should feel, because characters go on these crazy arcs throughout movies and shows. Like, it's impressive, actually.
Well, and that's a crazy thing too. I mean, who was it? Greg and even Nick said, they think it was probably more about the money with Jimmy, which I would hate that if that was it, because again, he's a big enough actor. But I just saw a whole thing on that Happy Gilmore 2. I don't know if you guys have watched it or whatever, but
I loved
Yeah.
it. It was dumb, and I loved it.
People that are in these big, huge stars, they didn't get much money at all, or did it for free just to be in it. And I'm like, okay, Jimmy, if that would be very disappointing for me. Not that I know him or anything,
Well,
but I think he's a great actor.
I don't think it had to do with money. Everybody keeps
I don't think so either.
speculating money. I think that there was other contractual things and other NDAs with other intellectual properties that, because Ron, a lot of times, like when you're on tour and an artist is on tour, if you played in Omaha, you can't play in Des Moines within 30 days or 60 or 90 days. So it's like, if he has something coming out or something that he's doing, that team doesn't want him being on another film or another show within a certain amount of time, because it'll take away some of their hype, why they paid him millions. So really, like, I don't think it was a money thing. I think it was a contractual thing with something else he was doing.
I really don't
I
think
hope so.
Yeah.
Greg,
I really
I
don't think
think
it was
you're right.
What are they doing? What are they rebooting LA Law again? Like, what can he not?
I mean,
like-
it's hard. I mean, maybe he was just working on production on something, or maybe because he does a lot of that behind the scenes stuff too. And it very well could have been where that team was like, hey, we don't want him working on something else right now, because we need all of his attention and we need all the hype we can get for it.
This is actually,
knows?
to your point, Derek, this was actually a big,
yes.
a big thing with that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. If anyone doesn't know, he had to keep a mustache
For like
this
Mission
other
Impossible or
thing.
something, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so when they reshot Superman, he had like this digitally
CGI,
altered,
and it was
Oh,
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
was
and
really
and
bad.
that's exactly it. Another great example, me jumping to the parks like I always do, is that you don't have a lot of Marvel stuff at Disney World, because they're contractually obligated to not have that, even though they own the IP. They can't have it because it's at Universal Studios, and no one in the public knows what that contract is. We
Yeah.
will not know when we'll get full on Marvel at Disney World, if we ever will, because
Yeah.
that's why we're only getting bits and pieces. So very same thing with this. It's like he probably didn't do it. I don't think money was the issue. I really don't. I bet
Well,
he would have loved to have been in it.
I don't think money's the issue too, because he came back for Rogue One, 2016 or whatever that was, and he came back for Kenobi too. He came back for when was Kenobi 2022?
Two.
Or Yeah, 2022. So that was only 3 years ago, and he came back for that. So I don't really see money being the issue or him like hating Star Wars being the issue. It was most likely something that was contractual, or he was doing something else, producing something else, or that just didn't
Or an
allow him to be there.
incredible PR move where they knew that months later, dorks like us would still be talking about it.
Yeah.
Also true. It did gain a lot of buzz. When nobody was talking about Andor, the conversation was, why is this guy playing Bail Organa?
Mhm.
Yep.
I love Jimmy Smits. I really hope it was something he actually had no control over. But considering that in 2022, Andor season 1 was also airing,
Yeah.
right? Like you're telling me they do these things so far in advance. You're telling me they didn't like alert him to like you might have this too. If I don't know.
Yeah.
Since he was already in the building when they did Kenobi and like years prior to that Rogue One, like they had the dude who played Solo technically sign on for like a few movies, but like with no intention of making them, but like said just in case,
Yeah.
we're gonna have you ready to go. I just like I don't know, it's weird to me. And then they had enough time to go get a really good actor for it.
Yeah.
Like they had enough time and resources to go get someone. So it's not like it was this last minute, dude, guys, sorry. It
Yeah.
seems like there was an issue.
Well, honestly, now that you bring it up, Jimmy Smits or Bail Organa, I guess, in Kenobi and in Rogue One, it's for like 2 seconds. Like in Rogue One specifically, he's in like 2 scenes, and
Mhm.
then in Kenobi, he just goes to Tatooine to ask Obi-Wan to help, and then he's in the last episode. I think that's it. So he's really not in either project that much.
Right.
And they probably took 10 minutes to film his hologram.
Yep.
Like that's in between.
Yeah. So honestly, maybe he didn't want to come because Bail Organa's role, it's kind of big. I mean, in that one episode, it's just a hello, and then he is in the next 2 episodes for a bit of time. Like he's in there for a long time. Maybe he couldn't commit that much time to Star Wars. I don't know.
Well, and I know there was some speculation about like the Dexter reboot or resurgence or whatever
Oh, yeah.
from the Dexter series. So like again, like he might have already been doing these things for Star Wars and Lucas, but it was like, all right, cool, here's your contract. And I just don't foresee him not wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Even if it was less money. If it was like, hey man, we're gonna give you a small paycheck, but you're gonna be in a few episodes and it's gonna be great for your career because no one else is beating down your door.
Mhm.
Do you want to do it? And I'm like, no, I'm too big for that. I just don't see that.
I see it as the opposite way. Like, yeah, this is supposed to be a huge show. I want in. Like I want more screen time. I want,
He's
whatever.
bought into that character for so long though, where it's
Yeah.
kind of like I'm hoping, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that it was like there's just something else that was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So to go back to where we started this conversation from, do you think Oscar Isaac will be in Starfighter, Nick?
Maybe. I think it'd be cool. I think it kind of depends on what Starfighter is too.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Ron, and I think everybody said this. Like he can't say anything, so like they're at the point where maybe if they asked him 10 years ago, he could give a definitive, "Nah, man, I haven't been talked to." But even Ewan McGregor said, "Nah, I'm not doing anything," and then Kenobi came out a year later. So I think it's weird that he didn't, and he's like, "Oh yeah, for Star Wars, cool."
And now he wants a season 2.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know Oscar Isaac that well, but him and I don't talk that much.
I
But
thought you guys were texting earlier.
yeah, it seems like he's having a pretty particularly great time in that video. So like maybe he's just
I
kind of
agree.
goofing around. So I don't know. I think if Starfighter bridges, like we've been hoping, it might bridges us into this new era, it would make sense to put someone like him in there. Because whether you thought the sequels were well received or not, he's a really good, like crowd pleasing piece of those movies. He's humorous, he's cool, he's got the Star Wars thing going. He'd be a nice like bridge if it's actually gonna carry us into something new. But he doesn't have to be, I don't think.
No, I don't think he has to be, but I think, like you said, it would be a cool bridge. And like Mike said, he's the leader. They say that he's the best starfighter pilot, around. So I think even if it's not that long, even if it's for a 30-second or 5 minutes or something where they show him, hey, like was it Max Rebo Experience said, to have him in there as, maybe Gosling's, wingman for a little bit, and then he goes off and does something else, and now we go ahead and focus on these two new main characters. But I think it would be cool to have him in there to tie the sequels together and whatever else they're going to come out with, because like I said at the beginning, I don't think that, yes, there's publicizing it as a standalone, but I think like Rogue One, we're going to get some stuff that's going to connect it to some of these other movies.
Yeah. He's also a really busy guy. So I don't know if he would be able, much like our Jimmy Smits conversation, I don't know if he'd be able to commit if it was any bigger than just a pop in.
Right.
I just want him to be in there because it will allow us to realize that these people can come back and the sequel characters will be around. Because yes, you're going to have a lot of sequel content moving forward, but right now all we got is Daisy Ridley as Rey. Still no John Boyega confirmation. Still no Oscar Isaac confirmation. Even like a Rose Tico type, like none of that. So if those characters are around, as much as so many people are begging for Rose to come back, yeah,
no.
So like Poe would be just him being in Starfighter, even if it's for a second, would be that like, okay, these guys are willing to come back. And we're going to get a lot more of them in the future, which is great because you don't want to be 30 years down the line and be like, okay, now we can do Luke when he's 60.
Right.
You want to be able to tell the story right after the fact.
Yeah. Also, to Greg's point here, if we're talking about the somehow Palpatine return thing, Ron, you've mentioned before, like concerns that we all might have with Sean Levy's tone in movies and stuff. I think Sean Levy could could redeem this line pretty well in a humorous way. I think that would, I don't think that's the point of bringing back Poe Dameron, but I think that's like the perfect tone
to bring back the Code Breaker. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Poe is
Sicario
that
version of Benicio del Toro.
I think Poe is like the perfect comedic relief almost type of character. He's like a Han Solo almost, but a little bit more goofy. Because even his first line, like somebody said earlier, it's like, who talks first? Do you talk first? I talk first? Like in the Force Awakens when he's being captured by Kylo Ren. Like that stuff, it's his character. Like that's how he works. That's why he's saying all those sort of your mom jokes in The Last Jedi and like that's how.
And I loved that. Like that was one. Like that was one of the few things that I like adored about those movies.
But it works because of that character.
Exactly.
Because of Oscar Isaac. Like if any other character was doing that, it wouldn't work.
Right.
But it works because of it.
And I'll tell you, the scene that gives me goosebumps is in Force Awakens when they're on Takonda or Takodana. Sorry.
Yeah.
And you look up and like, the camera pans up and he's just flying around busting TIE fighters everywhere. And you find out it's him. That is like, the one hell of a pilot thing. That is sick. And so like even that just popping in, that's what, 10 seconds max.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I think even something a little that gives you the vibe of the character, something, just a little thing like that. And
well, that's why
enough.
Well, that's why I think Starfighter is going to be so good, is because that scene, the exact scene you're talking about, Maz's castle, when the TIE fighter or the X-Wings come in and then the TIE fighters follow, and you get the shot of the TIE fighters in the sunset, and then like you get this awesome, cool action scene of Poe flying around and he like hits the side and he's like that stuff. That stuff in a full-on movie called Starfighter is going to be so cool. Getting those cool action dogfights in space. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. All right, we're at over 2 hours. So again, thank everybody for thank you all for coming and hanging out and talking with us, and really appreciate that. I gotta do this one more time. Sorry, but Chewy approved. So again, Mike will be live tomorrow. A guy who loves Star Wars, Thursday, 2:00 Eastern, and then again on Saturday, and again on Tuesday, and then we'll be back on Wednesday. So thank you for all your comments, everybody that was here. Appreciate that. If I wanted to say one thing, if you guys haven't already, check out my TikTok page, because I think I have almost 700. I need like 1,000 to go live on there, which is sort of messed up. So if you know anybody and you want to go over there and click it so I can get 1,000 followers, I'd love to go live on that as well to bring some more people over here to
and
chat.
on this page too. If you haven't already, I mean, I think everybody here has already subscribed, but share the page. As Mike always says on his page, smash that like button.
Sorry, didn't mean to mute you, but
no, you're good. It's better that way.
Again, thanks everybody. May the force be with you, and we will see you next Wednesday, or I'll see some of you guys tomorrow, and Mike tomorrow on his channel. So
oh yeah.
Thank you again. We'll talk to you soon.